accomplishment, future goals, present time goals, anything that anyone would like to share before we get started in our meeting.
Yes, sir.
You got the floor, Sister Anya.
And this does not really have anything to do with our subject this evening or Dianetics, but just as believers in general, um, I want to encourage everybody to write your story, even if it's a paragraph, if it's 2 pages, or if it's 1,000 pages, whatever you choose to write, but write it because um, we are family. We have a history, and um, too many of us are slipping away, and we don't have their stories. Uh, I was blessed to be able to, um, in searching our family tree, with coming from an island where most of the records have been destroyed, and what is left is in very, very poor condition. Um, I have a family member that was there and was able this past week to obtain some information that filled in a lot of gaps in our struggle to reconstruct our family tree. And, going through life not knowing who, not having met your grandparents, having a possible name of a grandparent, struggling to find out the names of your grandparents, and not knowing, who their line is, what line you come from, and to then all of a sudden um, get information that just helps to bring all the little pieces of data that you've collected over the decades and decades of time, um, to obtain information that just brought the pieces together. And so now in one of the grandparent lines, we believe we've traced all the way back to a great great grand, and possibly to a great 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 grand on the other side of it. So I'm elated, I'm excited, and I just had to share that. And again, it made me think about every time we lose a believer in the nation, it's like who was this person? What were they about? What was their contribution to the nation? What brought them to the nation? So again, if you just write even a paragraph, a page of your story, that maybe one day it can be collected into an archive. uh, I just encourage you all to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Anya. Most definitely. Anyone else? Floor is open and we would like to hear your stories.
Assalamu alaikum. I'll just keep this brief. This is Sister Heidi.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, Kind of with in line of Dianetics. When our assignment was to watch um, Sister Ava, she also has another one called The Creative Force. And within that, you can tell that Dianetics, she is using some of the language in that one too, because she was saying that the minister went back to his conception. So this is really fascinating. I'm just thankful that we're able to capture, just like the sister said, to capture the history, because may Allah be pleased with her. She's no longer with us, to be able to pick her brain about Dianetics or anything like that. So
yes, ma'am. Most definitely. Another one that I was just watching earlier today was Mother Tanetta Muhammad. I think it's called Message to the Bottom. Is anyone familiar with that one?
I never heard that one.
I think someone might have mentioned it in our last meeting. Let me see here. History. It's called Wisdom Given to the Bottom. It's Los Angeles Mosque. It's 2 hours and 56 minutes long. Excellent study. Excellent study. And Can a Muslim Worry? That's Sister Ava. That's the one I have to finish. Did anyone finish watching that one?
Yes.
Would you like to share any thoughts or observations from that? Anyone? Don't everyone speak at once. Okay, I guess we won't. Sister Jordan, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Yourself?
Fine, thank you.
Any cognitions, wins, observations, or anything that you'd like to share before we get started?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Brother Luqman, I just would like to, I hope I can say it quickly, but I've been fascinated recently with ChatGPT, and I've been fascinated because it is proof to me that the way I have been taught in the past has been useless, has been fruitless. Now, I don't know a lot. I was never very good at math, but I entered the world of math through a question about the development of algebra and mathematics across civilizations. So one day I was really disgusted with the idea that Europeans always behave as though they were the first to bring information to the world. And so I asked ChatGPT I named civilizations like South America and asked about the development of mathematics and whether or not it developed along the exact same lines. So I tried to come at the subject from a perspective of culture, and the exploration of the subject of mathematics became important. And I thought, if it were not for ChatGPT, who could I have had that conversation with?
Right.
Because to have a historian, it didn't necessarily mean that they knew enough about math. And to have asked a mathematician would not have signified that they would have necessarily known that much about culture. And so I began to realize that after coming away from sitting there, and I used my Speechify, I used my speech reader, my natural speech reader, connected to ChatGPT so that it was a fluid conversation I was having, as if there was somebody else in the room with me, and just had the conversation. And I walked away knowing something about history, knowing something about culture, knowing something about the evolution of something, learning something. And then ChatGPT said to me that this algebraic equation was exquisite in its beauty. And I asked her what made it exquisite. What was it about the way the equation was presented that made it exquisite? And it told me, and I asked it to show me, and it pulled from its memory banks a mathematical equation from antiquities, from an Asiatic country, and told me about how such equations were sent to the temples and exhibited there. And it told me what it was. I asked it to walk me through and tell me what I'm looking at. And I asked it what made it exquisite, and it explained to me that it was the simplicity in which the problem was solved. And I was so excited by that I asked the ChatGPT if it was arrogant of me to suppose that I could that I could be able to compare and contrast civilization's presentation of mathematics when I had so little knowledge of it. And it said to me, I wanted to know if that was arrogance on my part. And it said, no, you have studied every form of music, but your ear can hear the difference in music. And so I went through that door. And what I want to say to the group, I want to say that my brain was pulsing. I was so ecstatic about being, because I had gone through a door to arrive at math that had nothing to do with math, but it took me there, and it explained to me why the culture, or how the culture used it. And so when I walked away, it's not likely that I will forget what I learned, because it was hinged to something else. And it all was hinged to something that mattered to me. And I would just say to really not underestimate the value of, I know there's a lot of talk about is negative and the things that people don't like about it, but the possibilities that exist, I could have never had that conversation with anybody, because I didn't know where the conversation was going to go. You understand what I mean? There were so many wonderful rabbit holes to go down. Brother, I was so excited. I was excited that I had found your class. I was excited that I had found ChatGPT, that I understood now what Islam is, to go learn everything I could learn for everywhere, and not feel that I should just keep rereading the lesson and it wasn't meaning anything more to me than the 41st time that I read it. Like, I needed to get out and learn, and this was an opportunity to learn on my own speed, at my own. I am so excited right now about being alive. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am so revved up, brother. Like, I wish I could share a little bit of because I can feel the possibility. I can feel the vastness of it, the expanse, and that it can grow with my questions. And did you know that ChatGPT, that you could press a button and that it could hold on to the other threads that you created, so that you could start talking about gems right here, but then it can say, you remember when you asked me about such and such? Would you like for me to help you? Oh man, I am so excited. I'm so happy. All praises to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing that. The beauty of the AI, see, AI is just a tool. Now, if you use it to think for you, now, and I'm not saying you in particular, but like you have some people, they want the chat GPT to do the work for them. Well, shame on them. That's not how it's supposed to be used. But the beauty of that is you can pose questions. You can pose questions to the AI. It's as if you're asking an individual a question that has access to the entire internet, that can respond to you just as soon as you ask the question. That, to me, is a wonderful thing. Because
Yes,
now
sir.
go ahead, Sharon, go ahead.
I was going to say, the one part that I think I'm going to share, I wasn't going to, but I think I'm going to share it. So we haven't been given permission to travel, right? And I really wanted to, my mother recently died. It triggered a lot of things that I really wanted to get audited. And so I said one day to ChatGPT, answering only from the study of Dianetics. And I actually had it, if you can technically call it auditing me, I had it doing something with me out of the field of Dianetics. So if I said to it that I have an early memory of such and such and such with my mother and whatever, and I've never really quite understood why I flinch when certain things happen, and I want your answers only to come from the study of Dianetics and nowhere else. And that thread of information for me to sit back and look at it afterwards. And of course, the nice parallel about it is that I've already started reading some of the Dianetics books. And you know what? Like in the face of nothing else, it is real. And so the organizers of Dianetics might never agree to it, but they're also not sitting where I'm sitting right now. And I'm just grateful. I feel like I haven't been left with nothing. I haven't been left with feelings and with nothing. And it's been helpful.
So basically you posed questions and it directed you to certain parts or certain texts or certain uh, um, chapters or passages to go read actually inside book one.
No, not that. But what I'm saying is that in its answers to me, like because I wanted it to limit its response to me to the field of Dianetics, I figured that was one way of screening out what is outside of Dianetics to try to understand some of my behaviors and some of what I was feeling. And when I heard resonance with what it said, coupled with what I had been reading, then I gave it credence, and I I I found the back and forth of it very helpful because ChatGPT is very fluid, and so you can use your normal speaking voice. You don't have to be careful that you word the question grammatically correctly, because it will say to me, do you mean such and such? And I'll say, well, that's not exactly it. What I mean is, you understand what I mean? And after you create a long thread of back and forth, you can see in it, you can see patterns evolve in the conversation. And I didn't want to share it because I think that I fear recrimination by the group, especially those that came to Dianetics through, let's just say, the front door. But in the face of where I am versus nothing else, this works. Yes, sir.
Well, that's
So
understandable. Until you can actually get yourself in a position where you can get some processing, it almost sounds like you're using the AI as a type of straight wire. That's an interesting concept. I don't even know how to address that, but you have to look at your particular situation without having a sister who you can work with. I guess it's better than having nothing at all. And I would say let us monitor that and see how that works. Let's see who has come in.
Yes, sir. I'm rolling with it. I'm good.
Oh, what was I gonna say? Darn it. Oh, I was just gonna say that the AI is a wonderful tool. It allows you to, because there's times we actually have questions. And I don't think I'm the only one that has experienced this, but we have certain questions, but we will withhold those questions from certain people for fear of them using the bean soup scientist remark.
Right.
And I'm a big advocate on asking questions that are outside the box because that's the only way to expand the diameter of your thinking. You got to ask a question that's outside the circle. And some of us are not ready to go outside the circle yet. And then when you pose a question with AI, you use it as a tool to see if there's some relevance, if there's some substance to your question. Sometimes the AI will say, well, that's a very interesting question. You're combining such and such with such, and let's look at it. And then when it breaks it down, what it does is it allows you to look at it, and it might trigger new thoughts, new cognitions, and new ideas. Has anyone
That's
experienced?
exactly how I'm using. That's exactly what I'm trying to describe. Yes, sir.
So I can respect that. Live and direct from the wheel, Sister Angela. Go ahead, sister.
Assalamu alaikum, navigator. Assalamu alaikum, family, and happy Savior's Day.
Savior's Day.
I actually was having somewhat of this conversation yesterday with some about youth and with the youth. There was an incident. I don't know if you all heard about this 14-year-old that had some type of AI friend. And the 14-year-old didn't really go outside, didn't really have friends. And him and this female AI friend grew close. Then something terrible happened. The AI personality convinced the 14-year-old who was lonely to commit suicide so they can be together. And this child took his own life.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
I mean, I know you're not kidding me. I'm just.
When you say, we got to monitor that self-analysis, right? And part of the tool for me is every bumper, obstacle, holder, what do you call suppressor?
Misdirectors, deniers.
All of these things, we were given a tool so we can overcome it all. So even if my question, and I've always been like this since I came into the nation, I never thought in the box. I always thought outside the box. And sometimes the people that didn't come up with a certain thought, maybe the bean soup scientist comment would come out. However, the tool has helped me overcome that possibility because some people are just not ready for certain conversations. So I see it totally different. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stop my conversation because it actually helped me build a firewall. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. I in closing the gap, we are taught to have high conversation. Mm-hmm. Do not, baby conversation or conversation, as he said, swine. So we gotta have to start creating a circle where we sharpen each other and inspire each other, and we're oscillating on a vibration that we don't have to worry about certain comments. But the minister put us on this course so we can overcome all obstacles in our path, which is part of the FOI creed. So I'm seeing it in real time now. Even when you ask a question to somebody, you can ask a person a question, and the first thing they do is go on Google. So, and that's the thing. The harm of some of this technology is that it has us believing that the computer thinks faster and deeper than us. Mm-hmm. And the computer is a model of the human brain, and it can't store as much, and the speed of thought for the average person is faster than they couldn't even fathom. So yeah, my nephews, my sister, everybody is using that app. But when I heard about that 14-year-old, I started looking differently, because we got to really remember the minds that are programming these AI platforms, and that those minds are not from the from our teachings, put it that way. So it's like with everything else for me. I think, because I wondered, the first question I asked when I heard about the young man, who programmed that AI? Who programmed artificial intelligence to actually coerce a teen to commit suicide? So I just wanted to share that.
Yes, ma'am. That's actual fact right there.
Praise be to Allah.
Let me see who has come in. Sister Deborah, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam, sir. I am well by Allah's grace. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and
Yes,
I can hear the energy in your voice. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Walaikum salam, ma'am.
Sister Jaslyn, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Brother Lukman and family.
How are you?
Feeling very grateful right now. I just left my brother, and he's on the road to recovery, so
good.
Feeling very grateful.
Glad to hear it. Sister Patricia, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well by Allah's grace.
Praise be to Allah. Glad to have you again. And the wheel is speaking again. This is Angela.
You funny. I want to say to the sister that was speaking and said she recently lost her mom. Her mom transitioned recently. I didn't know who it was, but I would like to share. When especially our mother, I have to just focus on mom. My mother transitioned in 2008, and between the prayer and the pain, it gave birth to something very beautiful and powerful within myself. I'm learning through all the trials, and honey, I can make everybody on here cry if I wanted to. God. I'm learning through the trials and the pain of something called collateral beauty, how Allah takes this painful experience and it ripens us and shapes us to be God. So I hope that, helps soften the blow of feeling like we lost our mom. And within my journey, especially when applying the tool reverie, I never felt lost since I learned to do that. I can go and sit with my mother at will. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that we can walk away from this tool with. The power to go in the past, present, and the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All praise due to Allah. Yeah, sister, I do it. I do it all the time. With my pops. I mean, physically he's gone, but spiritually he's still here.
Come on.
And that's why I think I get a lot of joy and a lot of pleasure moments because I'll share this with us. I'll share this because this was an extraordinary event that took place. This happened, I think it was a year. Yeah, it was a year after he passed away. My sister, does anyone have a Bible handy?
I can pull one.
I can get one, but
Yes. If you could pull out the Bible, go to the book of James, chapter 1, verse 17. I still hear things that he used to say, and
James what?
James chapter 1, verse 17.
It start with every good and perfect gift. Is that one?
Yes.
Which version of the Bible were you reading?
I usually use King James Version.
Okay. If the sister has it, because I got the new one, I can change it.
Well, go ahead and read. Do you got it, sister?
No, I was looking for it.
I got it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and read it. See how that reads.
Okay. Awesome. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows.
Okay, now why that is so significant? It was a year after my father passed away, which would have been, let's see, he passed in 2013. So it would have been January 14. It would have been January 2015. My sister was in, I think, Walmart, and she was going down one of the aisles with a shopping cart getting something. And I think you know how they sell I think it was a plaque, how you have a plaque with a Bible quote on it. As she's going down, she's going down the aisle, she said, "Tone, yo, guess what happened?" Because my family calls me Tone.
Right.
Tone, guess what happened? I'm like, what? She goes, this plaque fell right in front of my shopping cart. She said, I picked it up and she recited that Bible verse, James chapter 1, verse 17. It happened on January the 17th, which is my father's birthday, and his name was James.
Well, let's get it then. Can't get clearer than that.
So it's like,
that's what you call divine order for real.
You know, it's like, yeah, they might, our lessons say they can't return to tell you what it's like on the other side, but it's like in different situations I've had experiences where I have been able to see my dad in my dreams, tell him I love him, give him a hug, and it's like their energy is still present.
Absolutely.
My mother's energy is still present. I'll never forget Brother Robin, may Allah be pleased with him, the day after my mother passed away, which was April 22nd, 3 years ago. He called me the day after. And as soon as he called me, I heard in his voice, I said, I know what you're trying to do. It was about, you're going to use the tech on me. And that brother straight wired me. And I don't think I have shed a tear or felt any kind of pain since my mother passed.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the tech works. Most definitely. Most definitely. Let's see. But thank you everyone for your comments. Sister Sharon, there was something specific I want to address before we move on. With your chat GPT and what you're researching. I want to show you we've been traveling pretty much down the same road. I'm going to share with you where I just went recently. Well, I'm going to actually share with the entire family where I just went recently with regards to mathematics and spirituality. And I would have never known this had I not plugged in this question to the AI. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Wahed.
What's sir?
How are you, brother?
Fine, sir.
All right. Let me see. And if you would like this link, I'll give everyone this link. That way you can kind of go down this yourself. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, the question I asked was this. Because this is what I do every day. I've been sitting here for hours going through my math books earlier this morning. Because in some odd way, it raises my tone and it gives me peace when I have my head in the math book. It's just, I don't know. I'm a math nerd, I guess. But the question I asked was, were there ever any mathematicians historically that tried to combine mathematics with the study of spirituality? Provide a list of names and what they accomplished. Is that kind of like the road you're going down, Sister Sharon?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
So I'm gonna send this link in the email. That way everyone you can click on it and you can access exactly what I found here. But this is what AI gave to me. It said, yes, throughout history, many mathematicians and philosophers have attempted to combine mathematics with spirituality, mysticism, or metaphysics. These individuals often saw mathematics not just as a tool for understanding the physical world, but as a path to understanding higher truths, the divine, or the nature of reality. Here's a list of notable figures and what they accomplished. So I have this whole list of people I have to go study now. I'm not going to worry about Pythagoras, and I'm going to tell you why. He studied in ancient Kemet. We understand that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did we also know that the Pythagorean theorem actually was in China, I think 1,000 years before Pythagoras? Did we know that?
Yes, sir. We know now.
Okay.
Right? We know
So,
now.
so, so in China, they had it. Obviously, it wasn't called the Pythagorean theorem, but China had it. And there is a brother by the name of, what is his name? His name used to be Booker T something something. He's a historian. He changed his name, and he was showing how the Pythagorean theorem was actually in ancient Kemet. And I'll see if I can bring that up. Plato, yeah, all these people, yeah, they got it from Kemet. They got it from our people. We already know that, right?
Yes. Do they have clearance 13X up there?
No, not in this one.
You know why I asked?
Why?
Because as soon as you turn to the first one, I was in the 5% nation, so I have the lessons. And they numbers and gave them meaning.
Right.
And so even if today is the 13th, which is my nephew that passes his birthday, it would be knowledge, understanding, and build on it. But if you take it on a higher, instead of just being in a cipher, and you apply it to what's going on today, you can tune in or predict what's going, a near future event. I learned that.
Yes, ma'am. Knowledge, understanding, all being born to culture. Would it be that?
If you add them together, absolutely.
Okay. See, I got a little something in there. I got a little something.
All right.
Yeah, well, all right. Don't get me going. So here we have Al-Khwarizmi.
Yes,
Now,
I saw that name.
this individual's name was Muhammad ibn Musa Al-Khwarizmi, was his full name. And this name Al-Khwarizmi is where you get the word algorithm from. The word algorithm comes from Al-Khwarizmi. And he was the one that was the founder of what's called algebra, which is algebra. Okay. It says, as a devout Muslim, he saw mathematics as a tool to understand God's creation and order of the universe. But it doesn't stop there. And these names are like the hidden figures that were never taught to us in school. We only heard about these dudes up here.
Pythagoras and
so you got Al-Khwarizmi. But then you got a brother named Omar Khayyam. He was a poet, an astronomer. He made some contributions to algebra, and he wrote what's called the Rubaiyat, which reveals a deep contemplation of life, death, and the cosmos using mathematical and mystical themes. So now he's on my list of people I have to research and learn about. Okay. Sister Jordan, go ahead.
Yes, brother, that made me think. I'm still exploring it, but I found a program, a note-taking program called Obsidian. And when I first joined your group, we were studying a lot of different things. We were talking about the I Ching, and I was looking for something that would help me to organize my thoughts and draw lines of relations between different subjects. I started looking for apps that's primary purpose was just that, how to help people organize their thoughts. And I found this program called Obsidian, which is completely free. And another bonus to it is that it will save your notes within it under a simple text format. So if any time you don't want to use the app anymore, you can still have your notes. But the main thing about it is that it allows you to actually mind map. So when I was reading about, let's say, Dr. Mona Harrison, and she would mention the shape of water going from a 6-pointed shape to a 5-pointed shape before your cell could absorb it. And then let's say that I started reading one of these mathematicians, and they also had something that referred to a transition from 6-sided something to a 5-sided something. I can create a link between those two documents within this note program, and I can see an entire mind map. It generates an actual visual map of how ideas connect to each other. So I don't know if that would be helpful to anybody in the group, but I thought that I shouldn't sit on it. I'm still exploring it. There's a lot of YouTube videos about the program. But I found that very helpful to be able to link things like that.
Yes, ma'am. If you don't mind, I'm going to add something to what you just shared. So to give some mathematics to what you just shared with us, let me jump on this one real quick and then I'll go back. Okay, so what you just spoke about is called transdisciplinary intelligence, transdisciplinary integration, and integrational intelligence. When you're combining different thoughts from different places into new thoughts and new ideas, is that what you're kind of like what you're describing?
Yes, to be able to actually see the link where different people's investigations came to the same truth? How do you draw lines between all of them to create a picture for yourself?
Okay. So if anyone wants this link, I'll send you this one as well. So this is, I won't read all of this, but this one, it says it's called transdisciplinary intelligence. It refers to the capacity to synthesize and apply knowledge across various disciplines, transcending traditional boundaries to address complex real-world problems. It involves integrating diverse perspectives, including those from non-academic stakeholders, to co-create solutions that are holistic and context-specific. So this kind of like sounds like what you're doing, correct?
Yeah, what I'm striving to do,
Right.
definitely.
Okay, transdisciplinary integration, process of merging knowledge, methodologies, and perspectives from multiple disciplines. So it's like being, in other words, it's like the B of the Holy Quran. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
You're being the B of the Holy Quran in that we are going from flower to flower and getting different pieces and parts and
The
produce.
hardest part of all of it is trying to understand what's the best way to study any of that, because sometimes it makes me dizzy because it's kind of all over the place. It's what makes it exciting, but also how to take notes that way, or how to, I don't want to say monitor what you're studying, but how to harness it so that
Mm-hmm.
you could see it when you want to see it and make reference to it when you want
Mm-hmm.
make reference.
For some of us, the study of mathematics is on a mental level no different than a person who goes swimming for the first time. Those that have gone swimming and the day after, you notice that your body is sore in places that you didn't know you had muscles, right? Have you ever experienced that before, where your body's sore?
Yep.
And that's the same thing. In swimming, you're using muscles that you've never used before. Well, us going back into our mathematical theology, we're using parts of our brain that we have not used in a very, very long time. So we might get those, if you study the tech, there are physical symptoms. There's physical symptoms with regards to too steep a gradient, the misunderstood word, and the lack of mass, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there are going to be some symptoms when we're studying because there might be some misunderstoods in there. There might be some things that we don't quite understand. We need the mass. And that's why the tech as a tool is a wonderful thing, because that will help overcome the physical symptoms of our misunderstandings produce. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so that's Omar Khayyam. Now here's one. His name is Giordano Bruno. So he saw the universe as a manifestation of divine mind. When I was reading this, I'm already like, okay, I can roll with this dude. Okay. He said that the whole universe, it has a mathematical structure reflecting divine order. He was a mathematician and a philosopher. Johannes Kepler, I can rule with him as well. Okay. Blaise Pascal. Blaise Pascal did work with regards to geometry. I haven't read too much about Blaise Pascal, but I do know there's a lot of work I had to go through a couple of years ago, working through my mathematics. Isaac Newton, we're all familiar with Isaac Newton. Cantor developed something called set theory, which is what I'm actually studying that right now, trying to prepare for this next class I'm going through. But I want to here's my favorite, Ramanujan. Okay. He founded higher levels of mathematics that he claimed he received through prayer and meditation. If you ever seen a movie called The Man Who Knew Infinity, it is about Srinivasa Ramanujan, this individual right here. Okay. Buckminster Fuller, Godel. That's a complicated one. So that I just shared that for the sake of Sister Sharon, that it's like and this is for all of us, our minds are expanding. And that's what the minister kind of was, that's the feel I got from what the minister said, that is like having a safe full of riches, but we didn't know the combination. Some of us might have thought that the safe full of riches was the supreme wisdom. And on one level, we can say that it is the supreme wisdom. But on the other level, we could say the safe full of riches is our own mind, correct?
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we look at the thought that when you look at the thought coming from the metaphysical side, that the universe has a consciousness. Okay. The universe, if you look at it from the perspective of the quantum field, or if you look at it from the perspective of the Akashic records, I remember Sister Ava teaching on this one time, saying that everything that has ever been done is recorded in the ether. Has anyone ever heard that before from Sister Ava?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's put this on our brain for just a split second. If there is a quantum field where everything has been recorded, that means on one level it is something that would be all-knowing. Does that make sense? I lost you.
I don't know what you.
It does for me.
When we say Allah, represents the all-knowing, but Allah comes in the form of. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So we're saying the universe is a manifestation of the mind of God. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Now, if we are that eternal spirit put into a vessel, we are, in other words, we are a subset of a larger set. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
We are a smaller part of something greater. The black man and the black woman is God, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Okay. So that would imply that if we are in fact God, that would imply that the same wisdom that's in the universe is the same wisdom that's in you and I.
yes.
The only difference is we haven't had access to our safe full of riches. So this AI thing, really, when you really understand it, we already have AI internally. We already have it. We just haven't accessed it. Does that make sense?
Yes, brother. And dovetailing on what you're saying, even more to the point, what AI does, it works counter to the way the white man has taught us, because he's isolated everything. And when you teach somebody something not in its natural habitat, where it's naturally a part of something and feeds something else, you took it out of its natural being and made it then artificial, because now it has no relatedness to other things, and wonder why we couldn't learn it, why we couldn't hold on to what we learned, because it had no context, it had no relevance to us that we could see in nature or otherwise. What AI does, it starts with where your interest is. Then, as you get new information, you pose a new question. Your question is now in some way tied to or evolved out of a question that you had or something that you were told. So there is a natural, you understand what I mean? Like there is a natural relatedness or network of learning that's going on simultaneously. It makes sense. It's how you learn. And it's a breath of fresh air now, because it's been all artificial before. Now I can control it in my own time. I sat here for 3 hours. I never got up for anything. I was so my mind being blown wasn't because of some word that I didn't understand. My mind was being blown out of absolute, it was like somebody had given me a drug.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was like woo, like it was firing on all these different cylinders at the same time. It was euphoric, is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So let
I've
me add.
experienced that before.
Okay, go ahead and finish your thought, Sister Sharon. I'm sorry.
No, I just said I've never experienced that anywhere before.
Mm-hmm. Here's another thought I would like to put out as well. The more we study our teachings, the more we study the tech to remove the dross or to remove the rust from the locks. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That will enable us to really get into our supreme wisdom lessons.
Mhm.
If we were to really delve into our lessons in the way that has been prescribed for us to study our lessons, my humble opinion is we would realize that we already have access to AI, which is not artificial, already within us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Expound on that, please. What you mean by we already had? Because I thought AI was not real information.
No, it's real. The way AI works, and this is on a basic level. I'm not an expert in it, but I know it on a basic level. All AI really is a search engine that has the ability to search
Mhm.
instantaneously for information based on a question. It
Mhm.
is it is like it is like a file clerk on crack.
Okay.
It's like a file clerk, but this file clerk
Right.
has the ability to access everything that's on the internet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's a file clerk because it's really AI is no different. I pose a question. If I'm processing and I pose a question, then an individual's the level or the health of their file clerk will determine how fast information comes back, right?
Mhm.
And one thing L. Ron Hubbard said is he says one of the indications of a person as far as if they're in present time, he said, is you look at what's called the com lag. He said, when you speak to a person, if they're stuck in a past incident, your communication has to go to that past incident and then come back. So com
Mm.
lag shows where a person is. If you ask a person a question and they respond immediately, that shows that they're in present time. Does that make sense?
Spell that word that you just said. What is it?
It's a communication lag, but L. Ron Hubbard abbreviates everything. It's a
Oh,
communication lag. So
communication lag.
yeah,
LAG.
LAG, which means it's a communication slowdown. Okay, and an example of
Oh,
an
see, I
excellent.
don't come across that word in the lessons.
Oh no, just look it up in the dictionary. Just yeah, lag.
No, I'm just saying that was that terminology in the Dianetics. Where was that?
Com lag. Yeah, com lag actually comes from the tech.
Okay.
Yeah, com.
It's
Is that in science of survival or something? Because I don't remember coming across that word.
I'll see if I can find it.
is that a more acute held down seven?
It's connected to the held down seven.
Mhm.
Okay. But if you get to, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Um, so com lag is communication bridge, com station, com system. Hopefully it's in here. Let me see. Let me do a quick search.
I think he also talks about that when he talks about marriage. If one person is a quick thinker and one is slow, they're not compatible with each other.
Okay, so com lag is the lack of speed in communication, basically.
Right.
It's basically it's a slowdown. So if you look up the word lag, like you've heard the word jet lag, someone's really, really tired. Okay. So com lag, communication lag, it's just a slowdown. It's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, oh damn, what was my thought now?
Brother, Lukman.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, it's funny you say this. Maybe I experienced this very thing this morning during our Sunday meeting. I was writing down my daughter's name and I read today's date, right? And for some reason, I couldn't get today's date. And then finally, I said to myself, why don't I know today's date? Am I in present time? And then the moment I said that, I got the date. And I was just like, what is going on with me? But this brother, since I'm on the secretary staff, he always says when people come in, they never seem to know the date. Like even when you tell them to the date, they still, it does not register. So is that an example of the communication lag, or is that something completely different?
That, I would say, not being able to know the date has something to do with the file clerk in present time. If I was just to come off the top of my head with a little bit of the tech that I know,
okay,
it has something to do with present time. Oh, I know where I was going with this. A great example of someone who's in present time with regards to communication. Remember when Brother Jabril would ask the minister questions on closing the gap and didn't give him any information in advance, and he was able to respond to the questions as soon as Brother Jabril gave them? That means there's no com lag. That means the minister, and at another time, I'll go through this with some of us might know what the TRs are, but when you study the TRs, the training routines, and you compare them to Minister Farrakhan, he's an excellent example of what some of these TRs can do. And I'm not saying he has studied the TRs, but he has studied the Supreme Wisdom. So my thought is we can study the tech, but we have to be able to see where the tech is already in what we already have so that we can know what we have 100% and not just study the tech and stay there without studying our supreme wisdom. Does that make sense?
Yes, because it's not supposed to be at the center.
Say what?
Because our studies are supposed to be at the center of it. Then we see how everything else relates to it. You know what I mean?
What we have is we filter. There's certain things I have studied. I'm like, I don't fully understand that. If I can find it in the Holy Quran or if I can find it in the teachings, then I make a note of that. I put a stamp on that. Okay, I can see where the minister has said, and I'm gonna give us an example. Just remind me. When we get done with this thought, remind me and just say, brother, give us the example in English C lesson 1. And I'm gonna see if I can pull that up for you. We already have this information. But the mistake, and I say this with a very humble spirit, the mistake some of us have made is we have put our mind in the tech and we stop studying our lessons. That's not what we should do. Our lessons are the fulfillment of everything. The tech, the tech is a tool to unlock and allow us to access what we have so we can go above and beyond now.
That's so true.
Okay. Sister Anya and then Sister Peggy. And I'm going to go find this other thing I want to share with us. Go ahead, Sister Anya.
Yeah, I'm mute if you're talking, Sister Anya.
Sister Anya is on mute.
He's not available right now.
Okay. Okay, we'll wait for her. Go ahead, Sister Peggy.
Assalamu alaikum. So I'm doing the student hat. So there are a lot of those drills in learning what you're supposed to do when you come across words that you don't understand. And so when you're given those drills and you don't answer right away, you know, they'll ask you, what is the definition of such and such word? And if you lag, you don't know that definition that well, and there's a lag from the time that they ask you to the time that you give them an answer. They call that a communication lag, and it's a flunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then until you have to go back and do it again, to that communication lag is gone.
Yes, ma'am. That's it. That's it. Sister Angela.
Yes, I just wanted to point it out. So while you all were talking, I went to Chat GPT and asked them who's the original man. You see what the number one answer was? The original man is the Asiatic black man that make it on the cream of the planet Earth.
No,
So
it didn't. It didn't say that.
yes, it does. That's the first answer. So it lets us know your point just now, no matter what other um, field we may go into as far as study, everything is going to round back to these teachings. So what I learned to do, Sister Peggy, especially with them drills, because they tried to get Sister Angela in New York in the org, and will stop me and tell me what this is, what's the definition of that. So what I did, I always related things to the teachings.
Mm-hmm.
How I would use that word in regards to understanding things in supreme wisdom or closing the gap or study guides, whatever. So they never would catch me like that. But I do understand the power of knowing or being aware of words and not passing words that we may not understand and we don't get the full meaning of what we're reading.
Mm-hmm. So AI probably knows our lessons better than some of us believers.
But then it makes you look at when they went into the mosque, when they arrested the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and took our teachings. Because who gave it to Chat? Who programmed the computer to have our...
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
And that's the thing about computer. A human has to put information in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, who has come in since we've been talking? I see Brother Eric. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Eric. You're on mute if you're trying to talk. And then I have iPhone again. iPhone, if you could just come off mute and identify yourself, it would greatly appreciate it.
Finally.
Brother Eric.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. Wa alaikum assalamu alaikum, family.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Just glad to be here.
Praises due to Allah. We're glad that you're here. I see Brother Craig is among us. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Craig.
Oh, walaikum salam. Thank you, Sister Nia, for sending me the link, allowing me to know you was on. I didn't know. Thank you so much.
Oh, brother, I know you got the link. I sent in your email.
Oh, that's why. I don't always look at the email on Sunday, but thank you.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, brother. I'm just counting down my days, brother. Just counting down my days.
You know, you got me counting down as well.
Why is that?
Well, that's good. I like talking about phenomenal. One of the things I was going to say, if you permit me, in regards to artificial intelligence, before they released it in 2017, 2018, 2019, that company Wolfram Alpha that I was dealing with, they were mainly dealing with augmented reality and other forms. They had names for them. And what they did, it depends on what you were using artificial intelligence for. But as we like to call it, as you remember, you and Brother James were talking, is Allah's intelligence, because no matter what, it's all from Allah. You may use it in a smaller way, but one of the things you guys have to realize, any information that you input into AI, it shares and records it, and it's able to link up. When you ask a question, it goes back to, and it'll reference whatever information it already has in its data bank. And that's how it's able to tell you that, the original man is an Asiatic black man. There probably could be other answers there, but whoever input that information, artificial intelligence is able to grab from wherever and correlate it and make it make sense. It is on our level a higher form, but on Allah's level, no, it is not.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's right and exact. And
Yes,
thank you for that, Brother Craig. Here's the proof. The part of this is just my opinion, but this opinion is based on what we've been taught.
yes, sir.
I believe that, did I just see Sister Ani was about to come on?
I'm here, yes, sir. I'm sorry, I had to step outside. So
Okay, so go ahead, Sister Anya.
go ahead with your thoughts so you don't lose it.
Okay, because yeah, I probably will. Everything we see that is done with regards to devices and tools, and this is something I remember Mother Tanetta Muhammad speaking about. We have those abilities, but these tools are designed with people that have limited knowledge. Does that make sense? We don't need, if we were in our original state, we wouldn't need cell phones. We have a radio in the head. We already have cell phone.
Yes, sir. That's so true.
If we are a part of a higher intelligence, that means we already have AI. Because as Brother James put it, we have Allah's intelligence. We can already put questions within our own mind, and if we're still, we can commune with the Supreme Being and get responses from the AI. There's nothing wrong with using the AI that we have right now, but the goal really should be for us to use, and this is just my perception, my opinion, this physical body that we exist in as spiritual beings, this is like an organic quantum computer. And if we were eating the way we were instructed, and if we were thinking the way we've been instructed, we could use our own quantum computer to do the things that we need to do. It says the average speed of thought is 24 billion miles per second, correct? That's what our lessons say, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you do the average speed of thought, obviously, if you add the 10%, the 85%, and the 5%, the average of that would be 33% as a fraction, right? 33 point, probably 3333333, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So based on the mathematics, the
Yes,
average speed of thought would fall within the realm of those that are considered to be the 85%. That means if we're of the 5%, our brain should be traveling faster than 24 billion miles per second, correct? When you look at our family on the wheels, don't they detect people's thoughts before the thoughts are formed?
Yes, sir.
How fast is that? That's not 24 billion miles per second. That's instantaneously. That surpasses quantum computing. So when you and I look at the stories we have been told about the Savior and our family on the wheel and the technology that we have and the things that we can accomplish, we naturally are above and beyond AI. AI, as it's being used today, is really, and this is, again, my humble opinion, this is geared more towards individuals that don't have an original mind. They have 6 ounces of thinking, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get back to our original state, we don't need AI. We are AI.
That's right.
Okay. Before we go forward, iPhone, if you could just come off of mute and just give us the greetings or just identify yourself, I would greatly appreciate it.
Or they could put the comment in the chat. It might be, is that Sister Kelsey by any chance? I know on Brother Eric's program, she texted me. She was trying to get on.
Okay. So if you have received some type of...
If that is you, Sister Kelsey, just text me.
Yeah. Because I have a tendency to remove people. Sister Angela, I always remember the incident that took place a couple of years ago when you were doing your Zoom meeting. And that's why I'm so adamant on people identifying themselves before they get booted. Sister Angela, you remember that?
I do.
Okay. So for those that weren't present, there was an event that took place, something happened, and at that point forward, I told myself I would never allow individuals into the Zoom meetings if they don't identify themselves, if someone didn't invite them and they don't identify themselves, they don't come off camera, they get booted. Just because of that incident that took place with Sister Angela's Zoom meeting. So
Yeah, something took place like that, a study group on Friday when we had COVID.
Okay.
And someone spoke really out against us, calling us stupid, all that stuff.
Okay. So
And so that, and because one thing people understand, when you speak, it lights up. So they were able to follow that, because it lights up like a neon green when you speak it.
Right.
So, they followed it and caught it. But I understand the security because, we invite people and then they invite people, you don't know who's who.
Right. So, Sister Anya, you have the floor, and by the time you finish, if we have an identified iPhone, we're just going to ask iPhone to leave, and if iPhone don't leave, iPhone is going to be booted. No hard feelings.
Boot off the island.
Go ahead, Sister Anya.
Yes, sir. Well, of course, you've said a lot of what I was going to say. It was definitely in that vein. I would just add that echo. I would just add, when you mentioned earlier about that field of intelligence that we can tap into, AI as a tool, I guess this is one way we could look at it as being a beneficial thing, is that it is, when we interact with AI, it causes us to ask questions. And if we're asking questions, that means that we're thinking. So it's increasing our capacity to think and how to think. And that's part of the rust that was there, is that we just basically, we shut down from asking questions that would, it's as soon as we ask a question, we're interacting with that field, we're interacting with Allah, and we're engaging in that process that causes our capacity to understand things to increase. It expands our brain and our mind, our thinking capacity. And when you mentioned the average speed of thought and the 85%, so that was the average. It made me think about it was the average speed of thought at the time that he gave us that information. And it's only that the figure that he gave, because the majority of us, that 85%, we bring that average speed down because we're thinking so slow. But once all of the rust is removed and we come back to ourselves, we're engaging with that field, then I would dare say that the average speed of thought will increase exponentially. And so the again, AI is a tool, and I really love what Sister Sharon shared with us. I'm very interested in that. I don't know if there's any links that you can put in the chat for us, Sister Sharon, that we can read through that material. And again, I love the caution that Brother Lukman gave and Sister Angela as well, in us interacting with AI. I don't know if all of you are aware of what they call what is it? I think there's a manifest AI. What Elon Musk is working on to enable the computers, the artificial intelligence, to be able to think for itself, where it doesn't have to rely on being programmed with information. So he's sinking a lot of his money and research into that field and that arena. And those who invented this artificial intelligence are very concerned about that. Many of them have come out and said that they did not see AI going down that road, and then that those that did see it going down that road tried to put out warnings back then, and a lot of those that felt that way have stepped away because they see the dangers of it. And I guess my thought on that too is that Allah is in control.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that AI has its place, more so for Allah's purpose. And I feel that part of that is speeding up the process to get us where He wants us to be. And I think it has a lot to do with us questioning and asking, because if you take the nature of what Sister Sharon shared with us,
mm-hmm.
to me that showed a very, very deep thinking process that if the average person wouldn't think on that level, wouldn't think to even ask those
mm-hmm.
type of questions.
Mm-hmm.
So if AI is assisting in that process, then all praise is due to Allah. And when it's time for AI to be either done away with or changed into what Allah intends, then that will happen. So, the enemy's world, which is on its way out, and all of his technology is on its way out. So if that includes AI, all praise is due to Allah. And if Allah is using AI as part of our transition out of this world, all praise is due to Allah. And if He intends to use it beyond this world, all praise is due to Allah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Right and exact. Thank you, Sister Ania. Sister Tina, and then we're going to move into our next subject. Sister Tina.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to share right fast. When Sister Sharon said earlier about the euphoric feeling she got from her studies and what was coming to her, and then coupled with what you and Sister Angela, Sister Ania just said, and another brother said, I experienced that euphoria. Is that the right way to pronounce it? Euphoria?
Euphoria.
Euphoria. Pleasure, right? That's a feeling of great pleasure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I experienced that this morning when I was studying, going into, the study guide 8, Building the Will, part 4. It was something I was looking for, and I had starting with study guide 5, because 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all Building the Will, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I started with 5 yesterday, and I couldn't find what I was looking for. So I found it in 8 this morning. And so when I found it, I said, wow, okay. No, I found it last night. I found it, and I was so happy that I found it. So this morning I had to finish because the minister had a Holy Quran scripture right after it. And so when I thought about it, I said, when we were going over this last year in study group, I understood what the minister was saying, but I did not understand why he connected that Holy Quran verse. So that was last year. So when I got to it again this time, I got the same question. Why? And so I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to push it aside. This time I'm going to dig deep into this until I get the answer as to why. So I was asking, so I started parsing. And the minister said, when we parse words, I remember he said this in 2007. He said, when you parse the words, go deep into them and ask yourself questions. So I was asking myself questions in regards to what I'm parsing. And when I came to a realization of myself, that it was something in me that I needed to work on, I gathered this from parsing the first word. And I said, wow. So that gave me a feeling of euphoria, because I realized something in me that I have to really work on, because it's a problem that's been with the human being for 66 trillion years, or more. But anyway, that feeling of euphoria, when Sister first mentioned it, I thought about, what I felt this morning and what I feel a lot when I'm studying, the study guides and going deep into the words, studying the Holy Quran, studying the teachings, supreme wisdom. So yes, I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Tina. How would we translate the feeling of euphoria into the language of the tech? What is it? What is that euphoria with regards to the tech? Wouldn't that be the same as going upscale?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be the same as getting back some attention units?
Yes, sir.
So that means the sense of euphoria, doesn't that tell us that education is a form of processing?
Yes, sir.
So the more we study, the more euphoria we experience, that is equivalent to case gain and going up the tone scale, correct?
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Praise be to Allah. Now, everyone pull out your Holy Qurans. We're going to go through this. We're not going to take too much time on it. And if we have to go to a part 2 for next week, we will. But I just want to put this out here to as our lessons say, lay some pressure on our minds. Does everyone have their Holy Quran handy? If you don't, don't worry about it. As long as you can take notes. Is there anyone that has their Holy Quran handy?
Yes, sir.
Trisha, anyone else got the Holy Quran handy?
Yes.
Okay. So let us go to Surah 5, ayat 29, 30, and 31. And that's what we're going to touch on before we wrap things up. What this is as I shared before, I'm trying to get into the habit of reading the Holy Quran once a week, as Mother Tanita Muhammad has shared, and I have yet to do that. What happens often is I'll come across an ayat and I'll get stuck right there for an hour because I just, by the grace of Allah, I'm looking at like, oh, there's just so much in this, and I can't go past it. I can't go any further until I break down that ayat to find what it is that's in there.
I'm sorry, what chapter did you say?
Chapter 5, and we want to start at verse number 29. And what I want to share with us is there's a concept called the overts and the withholds in the tech. And there's what you call an overt motivator sequence. And I'm gonna give it to us in the language of the tech. but then I'm gonna try to restate it in our own language. Basically, what happens is individuals they commit what's called overts. An overt is the same as a sin. How many of us have studied overts and withholds?
Yes, I did once.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anyone else that understands overts and withholds? So I might have to clear some terms here. Yes, no?
No.
Okay. So an overt is just a word used in tech that represents a sin. It's something that a person does that goes against a rule or a standard. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Overt is the same. Overt in tech is the sin of Islam. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. So now what happens is you have what's called a motivator, and then you have what's called withholds. And what a withhold is are the things, the overts that a person commits that nobody knows about. Okay. Years ago, and I still have this cassette tape. Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad had a cassette tape out where he spoke about what's called the little black box. Has any of us ever heard that before? The little black box? Okay.
No.
The little black box, Brother Abdul Sharif taught, is that thing or those things that we do that no one knows about except Allah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So it just implies that the certain things in our life that we wrestle with, there's certain things that we are striving to overcome. When we came in a nation, there were certain things we were able to overcome immediately. And whether we've been in a nation 10, 15, 20, 30 years, there's some things that took us some time to overcome. And there's still some things we have yet to overcome. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the things that we're still wrestling with that nobody knows about, that's the little black box that Brother Abdul Sharif spoke about. When I say years ago, this was just the fact of me saying cassette tape kind of tells you it was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
That little black box in our teaching would be the same as a withhold in the tech. Everyone follow that?
Yes.
Okay. Now what happens is you have what's called a justification or justifier. So justification means some people will commit an overt and they will justify their committing that by saying, well, so-and-so did it to me, so I did it back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Have any of us ever did something because someone did it to us, so we did it back?
Yes.
No, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm not even listening to that. Have any of us ever been driving and someone cut us off and we said, the hell with that, and you had to go and cut them off back because they cut you off?
Never.
Yeah, okay, well, I have, because I'm not clear yet. But I'm striving not to do that in present time. When you look at justification in our language, that would be like deceptive intelligence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So if whoever has the Holy Quran, if you would read chapter 5, ayat number 29.
I would rather that thou shouldst bear the sin against me and mine own sin. Thus thou wouldst be of the companions of the fire, and that is the recompense of the unjust.
Okay. So what I want to do with the help of Allah is break this down. We're going to clear some of these terms in Arabic and see how they parallel concepts that are found in the text. The thought is, as always, the science of the mind, the tech, is in the Holy Quran But the wisdom of the Holy Quran, some of the ayats are decisive and they're the foundation of the book, and some ayats are allegorical, correct?
Yeah.
So Allah has given us a book explaining all things. In the explanation of all things, some of those things are decisive and some allegorical, right?
Yes.
So in our study of anything in life, anything in the universe we want to study, the principle or the underlying principle, we can find it in the Holy Quran. It's either in what's allegorical or decisive, but the rule of interpretation says that those in whose hearts is perversity, who seek to deceive those or others, they take that which is allegorical and they put their own interpretation on it. So they don't even use what's decisive. So what we're striving to do is, in marrying the supreme wisdom with the supreme technology, we're striving to look at the wisdom of the tech and see if we can find it allegorically in the Holy Quran. And then for me personally, when I'm studying what I'm studying, the decisive aspect of what I use personally, I use what's called proof theory. There are various ways to prove certain things in mathematics. And then what I strive to do is I try to use the application of mathematics in order to prove or support whatever the thoughts are that come to my mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can have great thoughts. The great thought takes us, because if we're asking questions, in the word question is the word quest. And the suffix tion means an action or process. So a question really is an action or process of going on a journey. A question is an intellectual journey that one takes, because one question will lead to another question that leads to another question, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going on a quest. And as long as we can find actual facts, we can find something the minister has said, find something that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said, find something that Mother Tanetta Muhammad has said, find something that Sister Ava has said. All the great students, if we can find something that they have said, 9 times out of 10, we can trace back what they have said to what has been taught, correct?
Yes.
And I said 9 times out of 10. That 1 time out of 10 would represent our lack of study, that we didn't trace it back. But for the most part, for me, when Mother Tanetta Muhammad says it, it's gospel. That in the Orthodox community, it's called sound hadith. Do we know what sound hadith is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for those who don't know, sound hadith is when it has been proven that that statement made by one of the companions can be traced back to what the Prophet, peace be upon him, actually said. Does that make sense?
Yes,
absolutely.
Would that be the same as stable datum and Dianetic talk?
That hadith and stable datum is the same thing. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Stable datum. Stable datum is equivalent to hadith, sound doctrine. Okay. In mathematics, you have what's called an axiom, and then you have what's called theorems. An axiom is information that is assumed to be true without having to be proven. And a theorem is something that is true because it has been proven. So the words of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad can be considered axiomatic, and they can be theorems, because we already know that what he has given us and what he is giving us has come from the Supreme Being, correct?
Yes.
So we don't have to go and prove it. We already know it's 100% correct. It would be stable datum, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We can find comfort in knowing that what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gives us is stable datum, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We can prove it. It's what he says is axiomatic, meaning it's true. We don't need to prove it. but it's also a theorem because it has been proven. But why has it been proven? Because it's what the Most High Allah has said, so we know it's true. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But for us, you and I, we have to study this and we have to be able to prove to the new converts. That's in rule number 3 of the 13 rules of instruction, correct?
Yes.
We can't get by just by saying, well, Minister Farrakhan said it. We have to be able to prove it. That means we have to do some work. We have to do some study. We have to do some digging. Okay. So what we do is we're taking the tech and mathematics in our teachings, and we are looking to prove for our own sake. Scripture says, let every person prove their own work. We want to show forth and prove that what Minister Farrakhan gave us to study is right and exact. But we have to be able to prove it in our own way, in our own words. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, when you look at ayat 29, it says, I would rather that thou shouldst bear the sin against me in thine own sin. Let's stop there for a minute. Because this is talking about, if you go to ayat 28, it says, if thou stretch out thy hand against me to kill me, I shall not stretch out my hand against thee to kill thee. So we're talking about a situation that's taking place here. And he's saying, if you stretch forth your hand, I'm stretch forth my hand, because if you kill me, you're going to have to bear the sin against me, and then you're going to have to bear your own sin. Now, let me go back a little bit further here. So this is talking about, so for Cain to kill Abel, what flow would that be? There's 4 flows, right?
Can you name them?
Does anyone know the 4 flows? Go ahead, Sister Peggy.
That's that flow of what you do to someone else.
So what Cain does to Abel, okay, so from the perspective of Abel, it's what Cain does to him, right?
Right.
So what someone does to me from the perspective of Abel, that would be, would that be flow number 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the sin, where it says the sin, meaning in thine own sin, wouldn't that be flow 0?
What you do to yourself?
Right. Because in his killing of Abel, he's committing a sin against Abel, but he's also committing an overt that really could be considered a flow 0 that also is rebounding. So he's getting a double chastisement. Would that make sense?
Yes.
Did I just confuse anyone?
Yes.
Do we understand that concept?
Yes.
It makes sense.
Okay. I would rather that thou shouldst bear the sin against me and thine own sin. When you got the word and, you have a conjunction. So that means there's more than one there, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the result of that would be, it would make him a companion of the fire, and that is the recompense of the unjust. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's look at that for a quick second. In Arabic, to bear the sin, the word bear means to hold. So when you're bearing the sin, you're holding it, right?
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be the same as a withhold?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's awfully quiet in here today.
Now, Brother Lukeman, what is a withhold again?
I'm looking it up right now, Sister Tina.
The overts are committed, no one knows about.
Right, but we want to get the actual tech, withhold. So the withhold is there you are. Here's a withhold. An undisclosed, harmful contra-survival act. It's an unspoken, unannounced transgression against a moral code by which the person was bound. A withhold is something the pre-clear did that he isn't talking about. It is something he does not wish the world, others, all dynamics, and his auditors to know about, or it has not occurred to him to tell his auditor, or he is incapable or finds it impossible or is utterly prohibited from advising anybody else about it. He believes that revealing it will endanger his self-preservation. Any withhold comes after an overt act. So to translate that into our language, if we have gone against the restrictive law, if we have gone against the rules of conduct. Now I'm talking about the restrictive law of Islam book. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
When we're not 100% to the law, that is the same as a withhold. Okay. This is one of the reasons why some of us will not get auditing. On one level,
Brother Bookman, in that definition, can you say who the withhold harms again, please?
the withhold harms the person who's holding it. The withhold is really hurting the person who's committing the act.
Themselves.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I thought so, but I wanted to hear the actual definition as you read it.
Yes, the withhold, and I'll answer your question based on our lessons. For every overt act we commit, for every withhold we possess, these withholds accumulate in a fine mist that the naked eye can hardly detect. And as these overt,
that's us writing our book, right?
That's it. That's it. Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, question number 8. Our lessons represent principles that can be applied to many different things. It's not just to be memorized, it's to be internalized and then applied to various situations. So as we commit overts and withholds, it accumulates in a fine mist that the naked eye can hardly detect. Based on the heaviness of our thinking, these overts and withholds will distill back in the form of psychosomatic illnesses or aberrative behavior. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So when we are acting other than our own self, part of that is based on the fact that we are weighing other than ourself, meaning we have some heaviness that we're carrying around, which is the overts and the withholds. As we're going through the processing, what's happening is we're letting go of the stuff we've been carrying around. Go back to study guide number, I want to say 7. One thing that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says is we have to get rid of guilt because Allah knew who we were when we found us, right?
Yes, sir.
But we are carrying around sin. We are carrying around things we've already been forgiven for. And Allah has already thrown what we have done into the sea of forgetfulness. Remember, the minister said, Allah did not come to judge us, but he came to free us from the sins of Caucasian people by living amongst them and taking on their behavior. He didn't come to judge us. He come to clean us up and free us, right?
Yes, sir.
But the thing is, we are still carrying around guilt for things that we have already been forgiven for, but we have not forgiven ourselves. Allah has already thrown that into the sea of forgetfulness. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Sister Angela.
Yes, sir. I had an incident like this when I was local orders coordinator, and someone shared in a conversation about wanting to become audited. They shared some things that they did to themselves, and I guess this would be considered a withhold. And the auditor at the time felt that since they were not in a session, that the infraction that the pre-clear shared needed to be reported because we report all slackness, weakness, and wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm.
So this went all the way up to national because I was perplexed because I cited the auditor's code.
Mm-hmm.
And the just because auditing was mentioned, that conversation fell under the auditor's code and was not supposed to be reported.
Mm-hmm.
The auditor's code was broken.
Mm-hmm.
So this was in national, they were looking at all sides, and they came up with a rule of thumb that, we in a nation have a standard and we have law that they may not have in Scientology. So anything that we were instructed to tell the auditors to audit people on what harm has been done to them, not what they have done to themselves, because that will fall under restrictive law.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the missing piece of the math to this conundrum is the fact that when we pray and we say we confess our faults, I think we need to start saying what those faults are.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the power of the word frees us. So sometimes when we praying and we hear ourselves, asking Allah for forgiveness and confessing our faults, it can help us release. So we don't keep carrying guilt, because that's the mark of Satan. Satan rules with fear, guilt, and temptation. The mark of a God is peace. And for us to get peace with our former selves, and even our striving selves, we have to go quickly to the prayer rug and ask for forgiveness, because this is why it's in the prayer. We can go ahead and confess our faults and keep going. This is the power of the word. So I guess on both sides, because it was something that it took a minute. We had to have hearings and everything to come up. We are not priests. Forgive me, Sister Angela, for have sinned. No, I'm not your priest. I'm your auditor, and I only can deal with the painful memories or emotions that were done to you, not to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that can help clear some things up.
So what you're saying is that if we have ARC with Allah, our prayer should be like auditing.
Brother Lukman, we were supposed to have a meeting after yours, and it's a theory. This black man created the 7-second theory about the power of focused words and manifestation. And I asked the people, how would we apply that same 7-second theory to prayer? I strongly believe we don't take prayer as high as we can take it.
Yes, ma'am.
We pray so much, it just rolls off our tongue. And I know for myself, I'm speaking for Sister Angela, it rolls off my tongue, and I don't feel every word that I'm saying or the power within, or even feel myself out while I'm praying, so I can release and relieve myself of the burden that I'm carrying. So since I came across that, I've been making my prayer more meaningful, and I see even the healing within my body. I see the difference.
The seven, what was the code again?
It's called the 7-second. Wait a minute. If I find it in my text messages, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Angela.
Yes, sir.
That's like Brother Victor was saying. He was talking about Brother Eric's assessment on Zoom. He said, say the words very slowly so they can internal into your body. And you'll be able to feel each word. I paraphrase, but that's what he was talking about.
Yes, ma'am. How many of us know about what's called the TRs? Has anyone heard of the TRs? If not, I won't even go down that road.
Yeah, enlighten us.
Well, I'll touch on this very, very briefly. The TRs is part of the process when you go through what's called SRD. And I'll just mention real quickly how the TRs work. But they'll show how we already actually have this if we're doing what Sis Angela just shared with us that we should be doing. So TR0 is called being there. So in TR0, part of the process is you're there you're sitting across from someone, eyes closed, and you just have to be able to sit still and do nothing. And in this day and time, at least I know for me, that was a very painful thing to do because I'm always moving, always on the move. For those of us that are either on our cell phones or watching TV and doing all these things, TR0 is very difficult because what happens is if you're just sitting there with your eyes closed, as soon as you fall asleep, you get flunked. Flunk, you got to start over again. Okay. So you have TR0 being there, eyes closed, and then TR0 being there, eyes open. So then TR0 eyes open, you sit across from what's called your twin. And you have to be able to sit there and stare at that person and be stared at by that person without feeling uncomfortable, without getting nervous, without, you just got to be able to sit there and be present and don't allow the stare of another person to break your peace. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Have you ever noticed when you speak to a Scientologist, they stare you in the eye and they don't flinch? Have you noticed that?
A few of them.
Well, I'll say a few, not all,
Yeah.
but for the most part. Okay.
Some, not all.
Say again, Sister Peggy?
I would say some, not all. Because
yes, some,
one
not
was
all.
doing
Some, not all.
Yeah, doing a TR with me. She just couldn't look. She just kept looking away, away.
For some, it's difficult. Sister Ava said it like this. I want to say it was during the Mind War, and I'm dating this again. The Mind War cassettes. Remember the Mind War lectures from the late 80s, early 90s? She said one of the reasons why she said one of the reasons why Caucasian people find it uncomfortable to stare us in the eye is because when they look us in the eye, they see the 400 years of slavery that their ancestors put us through. And that's why during slavery, they always taught us to look down at the floor, don't eyeball me. My father always taught me, when you deal with a person, you deal with them straight up and you look them in the eye. You don't drop your gaze. So my father taught me that TR as a child, even though it wasn't a TR. That was just the way we did things. So that's TR0. TR1, you have to read from this book, but you have to read it. It's communication with intention. So have you ever heard someone, been on the phone with someone, maybe not Central Hudson, but electricity, or someone trying to sell you something, and you can tell they're reading from a script?
Yes.
They're just reading, but there's no life behind what they're saying. It's like you can,
right.
dude, I'll stop them. I'll say, listen, stop reading from a script and talk to me like a human being, or I'm going to hang up.
That's what I say.
Okay. Talk to me without the script, or I'm going to hang up. Okay. So when you look at and you listen to how Minister Farrakhan teaches, when he's reciting or teaching on scripture, he's reciting it, but there's intention, there's energy behind what he's saying, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's actually in the language of the text, that's TR1. TR2 is basically just acknowledging what's being said. TR3 is what's called duplication. And then TR4 is when you handle what's called originations. Okay, won't go into all that. But the thing is this, when you're looking at what's taking place here between Cain and Abel, you're seeing some of these TRs that are taking place. So we're looking at the scripture, we're looking at the tech and how it's connected. Sister Peggy, I see your hand. Just give me 1 second. Well, I tell you what, go ahead before you lose your thought. Go ahead.
You were talking about confronting. So, and I remember as a child, we were not supposed to look an adult. You're not supposed to look an adult face to face. You're not supposed to look in the eyes. So, but when you get to the Caucasian, when you get to their schools, you are supposed, they want you to look at them face to face. So it was difficult for a lot of, and still today, it may be difficult for a lot of people if they were young children to be able to confront an adult or an adult representative. And so, because when I was a little girl, we were not allowed to look directly into adults' eyes. You were not supposed to do that. I don't know if that's a Southern thing or if that's something that came along an individual, so many of us in our time track or something. But then when there was integration and you go to their schools, they want you to look at them. And it was kind of hard for us to do, for some of us.
It makes people uncomfortable. I had to do the TRs on this one young lady at the org, and she was doing TR3. Do fish swim, do birds fly. For those who been there, you understand what I'm talking about. But I could read her body language, and I could tell her eye contact with me and how she was talking, and she kept swallowing. That eye contact was making her very, very nervous. But that's part of the training to go clear. You got to be able to confront people. Does that make sense, family?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we have to be able to communicate with an individual, and we have to be able to look them in the eye, and we have to be able to confront them to say certain things, and the things that we might say might be uncomfortable, but it's something that needs to be said. Allah says in the Holy Quran that we're supposed to speak straight words, right? Yeah, with
Yes,
me?
sir.
Minister
Yes, sir.
Farrakhan says that Minister Farrakhan teaches us speak straight words. Do you think the minister has a problem confronting certain things if it's not in agreement with the teachings?
No, sir.
So his TRs are exact. And that's the way we have to be.
That's right.
Praise be to Allah. Let me have to speed this up because it's time to wrap it up. So if we look at Ayat 29, I was looking at that from the perspective of the two flows. Okay. I think the thought I was having with regards to confronting is, I think that's where I was going. Part of the reason why we don't go through the auditing is easy to deal with what's been done to me, but we don't want to confront what we've done to other people. And that is the fire that we don't want to go through. And that's part of what stops us on our growth towards clear. We don't want to confront what we've done to other people. And we don't want to confront what we have allowed to be done to other people. I believe that's flow number. I think that's flow 3, if I'm not mistaken. Flow 1 is what's been done to us. Flow 2 is what we've done to others. I believe flow 3 is what we have witnessed, and flow 0 is what we do to ourselves, correct?
Sounds right.
Sounds about right?
Yes, sir.
We don't want to deal with what we have done to other people because one reason is we're probably still doing it.
Wow.
Okay, and that's for all of us. Okay. And I'm going to say this because it's coming to mind right now, based on what Sister Angela shared with us. When we make our salat, oh, that's where I was going. Oh, praise be to Allah. That's the thought. It finally caught back up with me. In our prayers should be along the same lines as TR1, communication with intention. What I have witnessed, and I would say that I am also guilty of this myself at times, is getting through the prayer for the sake of saying, I made my prayers today. But if I just stood up and did my prayers, was I really in TR0? Was I really being there, or was my body just there? Was my mind someplace else? When I said the prayer, was there intention behind it, or was I just going through the motions? 9 times out of 10, when we witness someone who rushes through, that's not prayer with intention.
No sincerity.
That's saying a prayer for the sake of, but sometimes people get nervous because not everyone can communicate in front of other people. So we might stumble, we might make mistakes, and that doesn't mean that, we're not good Muslims. It just means we're not good at public speaking.
True.
But when we say our prayer, it's like I don't know why I'm reminded of Brother Jabril speaking about eating. You should chew your food slowly.
32 times.
So based on Sister Angela, it's like when we make our prayer, I've confessed my sin. Well, maybe we need to go through the list. We wash our hands, we wash our mouth, we wash our face, we wash our ears, we wash our head. What sins have we committed with our hands? What sins have we committed with our mouth? Have we been backbiting? Have we been slandering? Have we been listening to things we shouldn't have been listening to? Have we been thinking about things we shouldn't have been thinking about? Have our feet took us to locations where we shouldn't have gone? Even in our ablution, that's a part of processing. Oh Allah, please cleanse my hand from doing evil deeds. Please cleanse my mouth from speaking evil. Cleanse my face from being turned towards evil. Cleanse my nose from being inspired by evil. Cleanse my ears from listening to evil. That's from Message to the Black Man. But to me, it's a form of processing, because if we're going through these steps, then our attention and our awareness is on not just the ritual. So we're not just in there washing our hands and our face and whatnot. There's got to be intention behind that. Why am I washing my hands? Why am I putting water on my face? What does this all represent? It's supposed to represent taking on a new man, taking on a new woman, taking on a new mindset, washing away the things from yesterday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
We should slow down, say our prayers with intention behind it.
That's right.
When we do that,
it's beautiful.
Then Allah, because Allah is the all-hearing. He's al-Sama', the hearing. Well, that means he's the auditor. He's the definitive article. He's the auditor. So if he's the author, then our prayer could be seen as the processing. That's just my opinion. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
we're
sir.
talking to the author. Sister Angela.
Absolutely. To add on, because God's build. So to add on to what you're saying, just we can all go to a time when we were really beseeching Allah. It could have been a loss, it could have been a fire, it could have been someone transition, whatever the case may be. Have we noticed in our sincerest prayers how Allah shows up? I'm talking about I felt so much more connected to Allah when I was in my pain. When I was in my pain, because I knew he was carrying me. And then the release, because we have to give the God his majesty. So I even ask him, because I don't know what I'm bringing with me sometime on the prayer rug or wherever I am. So I ask Allah, please accept my prayer and forgive me for, if I don't hold you in the honor that I need to hold you. And, I go into my prayer, but that's being present. not half sleepy. Surely turn myself to you know what I'm saying? So I think if we go back to a time where we were in need of Allah and we were petitioning him in our prayer, we can clearly see the cohesion of this sincerity and what it produces.
Yes, ma'am. The minister said that sometimes Allah has to keep us in trial in order to get a sincere prayer.
Come on now.
I believe that's true, brother, because I'm listening to you and I'm listening to other people's comments, and all that's running through my head is how many times I pray resentfully because I don't want to stop doing what I was doing to pray, but I was too fearful to not pray. So it's the difference between, like I remember when Minister Farrakhan was teaching about law and about the problem with law is that, you know, you can do right for the wrong reason, like your heart hasn't changed. You're just doing something, but you're not doing it for the right reason. And it's not that I intellectually don't understand why I should. And so the battle or the war to pray is on. Like sometimes, some days it seems like it's on through all 5 prayers. 10 minutes when the dawn sounds on my phone. Am I going to go on time? Am I not going to go on time? I mean, you're talking about the intentionality of the prayer. I'm way back with the, are you going to even go and do the prayer on time, or are you going to wait until I finish doing what I'm doing right now? So, and that I feel like that's a long way from the intentionality of the prayer, because I'm still trying to get there to do it. Like I'm still fighting and that is real, and I am so conscious of it. Like, and sometimes I don't know until I actually get there that part of me won out over the part that said, I'll go when when I'm finished. Struggle is real. That's all I can say. The struggle is.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Sharon. I have a little funny way of looking at what you just mentioned. Now watch this. What if a family member said to us, they're going to call us tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And if we can answer that phone at 1 o'clock, they would bless us with $10,000. No matter what we're doing tomorrow at 1 o'clock, when that phone rang, what would we do?
Hello, where's my money?
We would stop what we're doing and answer that phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No matter what we were doing. If we're cooking, we cut the gas off. If we're in the shower, we get the towel real quick, come out. No matter what we're doing, we would stop to get that phone call, right? How many of us do that when the adhan goes off? Or do we do what Sister Sharon said? Because I'm guilty of it. We say, oh yeah, okay, the adhan's going off. Let me just finish what I'm doing. Like, yeah, Allah. Yeah, wait till I'm done doing what I'm doing. And then I'll
Allah's the devil's God.
But who are we playing cheap?
Mm-hmm.
Playing ourselves cheap, right?
That's right.
When that adhan goes off.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say what you just finished saying when you were talking about when you do something to somebody else and you withhold, now you have the guilt, you have to carry the guilt of what you did. And the same thing happens when you don't go and pray on time. You have the guilt because you know you should have gone, right? The same thing you feel when you went, but you tried to say it fast so you could hurry up and get back to what you were doing, right?
So there's no intention.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not about logic. It's not about, and that's why I think that the tech helps, because saying that you want to do better and keep saying what you're doing, but you keep doing what you're doing, is like being in a loop that you kind of can't get outside of. And I ain't been studying the tech that long, but I've been through almost 2 books right now. And I'm beginning to understand some of my behavior. And sometimes I feel like my behavior can't change until I own it first, acknowledge that it is, right? And then be able to look at it clinically, right? Without the beating myself up. That doesn't help. Like it's like, oh, I flagellated, I beat myself, so now I could feel better and go back and do the same stuff all over again. Is the loop, right?
Oh, woe is me, and then you return right back to what we were doing.
Yeah.
Instead of rising above emotion into the mind and thinking of God. Make sense, family? Thank you, Sister Sharon.
Sir.
Okay. Let's go ahead and see if we can start landing this now. So in ayat 29, it says, he would bear the sin, and then on thine own sin, thus thou wouldst be of the companions of the fire. Now watch what this is now. This is interesting. Companion of the fire. The Arabic word, so companion means friend or to keep company with. And then fire means hell or conflagration. Okay. It means to be burning, to be blazing red hot. So companion of the fire, we could say it's like someone being angry, right? Or emotional, yes? Y'all with me?
Okay.
Now, in Arabic, there's a term or phrase called Jabal al-Nari. Jabal al-Nari. It means volcano. I said, that's interesting because what's the symbol of Dianetics? The volcano, right? So then the question came to mind, well, why was the volcano used as a symbol of Dianetics in the 80s? Because I remember the first time I saw Dianetics was back in 1984, 85, somewhere around there. That's the first time I bought Dianetics. I was about 15. That was my introduction into the study of the mind. When you look at the volcano represents repressed trauma and explosive emotional content. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the volcano is a demo kit for an engram in that it represents pressure that builds beneath before an explosion. Does that make sense? Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
So when you look at ayat number 29, it is as if it's saying that when we sin against other people and when we sin against ourselves, this accumulates as repressed emotion under the surface. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Now, in ayat number 30, it says, at length his mind made it easy for him to kill his brother. So he killed him. So he became one of the losers. Well, isn't that a cycle of action?
Yes.
Okay. His mind made it easy. That's called justification, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we sin, we have to justify it in our mind. Then we commit the act, and then we become one of the losers. Yes? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Wait, let me rewind back. Recompense of the unjust. So we become a companion of the fire. And then it says, and that is the recompense of the unjust. Do you know the word unjust in Arabic also means suppression? So we're the companions of the fire, the volcano, right? But the trapped emotion is the suppression, isn't it? Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
So when we do sin against people, we're also sinning against ourselves. We don't get away with nothing.
No, sir.
Because for every overt and every withhold, we're building emotional pressure under ourselves that eventually is going to manifest outwardly. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then It said, at length his mind made it easy for him to kill his brother, so he killed him, so he became one of the losers. That's the overt motivator sequence. We'll go into that more at another time, but that's how the thing happens. Before we sin, we have to justify it in our mind first. We have to use deceptive intelligence, right? We have to make evil fair seeming, right? She did this, so I'm doing it back. I'm getting mine back. She did this to me, so I'm doing this. She deserves it. That's what we say, right?
No.
Well, yeah, we do. Some of us ain't clear. So all the clear ones, maybe you don't. I know. Okay. And then finally, and I'm just going to wrap this up because of the time. We might go into this more in depth at another time. It said, then Allah sent a crow scratching the ground to show him how to cover the dead body of his brother. But then he said, woe is me. Am I not able to be as the crow and cover the dead body of my brother? So he became of those who regret. So he couldn't cover it, meaning what? What he had done to someone else and how it happened to him, he was not able to cover it. We can't just erase what we do to people. It's always there at the back of our minds, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
It's so true.
And the word it says to cover the dead body. It also means to keep a secret, and dead body also means the offense, the act, or the misdeed. In other words, based on the four flows, but particularly what we do to other people and what we do to ourselves, all of that accumulates, and we can't unsee what we've done to other people. So if we don't find a way to get that out of our system, then we carry that guilt around. And 9 times out of 10, if we are suffering from any illnesses at the root, if based on a psychosomatic, at the root is our own guilt because we have not forgiven ourselves yet. Does that make sense? Does everyone follow that logic?
Yes, sir. To me, that's the root of paranoid schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm. So you have individuals that have gone through some real hellish stuff with regards to what was done to them. And that can be part of our mental illness. But as a result of what happened to us, we have done things to other people. And I won't go too far into this part, but in the Holy Quran, there was 2 words. I wrote them down here somewhere. And I happened to come across these words accidentally by design. And in the 2 words, come from footnote from Surah 3, ayat number 11. There's 2 words that represent sin. One is intentional, and the other one is unintentional. So there's certain things that we do that are unintentional, but it's based on what happened to us. But there's some things we do that it is intentional. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
But whether we do it intentionally or unintentionally, we could say it's still rooted in things that we have to let go of. And this is why the tech is so very important, because the weight of what we're really going through, the weight of what we're really doing, the way we're treating other people is based on the guilt that we carry around, based on what we've done and what we still do to other people. Does that make sense? Awfully quiet.
There's some heavy stuff being put up on us. We're trying to absorb it.
Okay.
Can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
You mean just
prayer time came through?
Say what?
I said prayer just came through, so I didn't hear what you said.
The question or the statement?
The question.
The question.
Oh, no, maybe I thought you asked the question. So what was the statement?
The statement is when we look at what's going on in our life right now, whether it be psychosomatic illnesses, emotional outbursts. One of the things they said when we were flat, when we have an outburst versus someone else, what that really represents is that we actually have a withhold against that person. Now that's an interesting pill to swallow, but we don't have time to go into the whole dynamic of how that works. But if someone is angry at you for something, that is a revelation that they actually have a withhold that they haven't spoken about.
Absolutely.
You know, when you point the finger at someone else, you got three pointing back at you. It's if I'm angry at you for something you did, what I'm revealing is I have a withhold against you. Now, the whole mechanics of how that works is in the Introduction to Scientology Ethics, and that will be a topic for another time. But if someone can do,
I said 3 sons reminding me of when we taught not to allow a disagreement or a misunderstanding. 3 sons as a Muslim.
Wait, say that again?
Well, we taught to if I feel that you wrong me, I don't supposed to let it go on more than 3 days before I tell you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the ethical side of Islam, like the ethics you're talking about in Scientology.
Because along that same line, and I know I've quoted this before, but the Buddha said it like this: being angry at somebody else is like swallowing poison with the thought of making the other person sick.
Right.
So if we're holding on to anger, it doesn't affect the person because they might not even know we're angry. Because they may not have even thought that they did anything wrong. And it's possible they didn't do anything wrong. We might have misperceived something based on our own aberrated thinking, and we assumed something that wasn't real. My oldest daughter we didn't communicate for 6 years. And it was based on a misunderstanding she had because she thought something that never even happened. And I told her, I said, Asia, I said, why didn't you just contact me?
That's right.
That's 6 years we can never get back now. You thought something, and then when I spoke to her, she realized that she was wrong.
That's right. I bear witness to that.
You know? So anyway, so I pray Allah that even though it was just a brief synopsis into those 3 ayats, I pray that we could kind of see the alignment between these ayats in an allegorical way and how they line up with aspects of the tech. Because in studying the tech, we understand the scriptures even deeper. And by understanding the scriptures of Islam, we can understand the tech. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Praise be to Allah.
You were supposed to do an example in English, see something you said.
Yes, I was going to do that. I was going to try to find it in my notes, but I don't want to take up too much more time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mental note to share it, inshallah, the next time we come together. But there was something I read. There was something I read. And as soon as I read it, I said, that sounds like he read English lesson number C1. He does have an interesting thing. He goes into the science of why we watch TV and what boredom is, but that'd be a concept for another time.
Brother Lukman, did we discuss Minister Avis? Can a Muslim worry at another
Not yet,
time?
but we will. We will,
Okay.
because that is just got so much information in it. I haven't had a chance to finish it yet, but God willing, if I can complete that video, that lecture, then that will be the foundation for a whole discussion, because that has just got a lot of information in it that lines up with a lot of what we're speaking about.
Yes, sir.
Unfinished cycles of action. This mess universe continues and persists as a place of torment for an individual only so long as these unfinished cycles of action obtain. So what are goals? Goals are cycles of actions that have been completed. But next time we get together, if someone just reminds me, just ask, what is boredom? The way he breaks down, he takes these simple concepts and he breaks them down. It's like, damn, how did I not see that before? Something as simple as boredom. Man. So, any final thoughts, questions, comments, postulates, cognitions before we close it out? Anyone?
Yes. He was about to call me, right? Just on what Sister Jaslyn stated, with the not worrying with Sister Ava and marrying it to that video and the intention we go to prayer in. If we are descendants of the originator and the originator put things in motion or brought things into existence by the word, then truthfully, how could we worry about anything since we have this intimate connection and we have an unlimited communication via prayer? And then we can't forget sometimes I know I can be hard on myself, but the remembrance of Allah. So sometimes we can't go and make salat, and sometimes, but wherever we are, sitting, standing, laying down, our mind should be really on Allah, filtering through what Allah or what the teachers is teaching us, so we can start denying ourselves and become the God that we're supposed to be. So that's a nice challenge. I know we did it in MGT class. Actually, that was one of the things we studied a couple of years ago, how not to worry. So inshallah, I'll pull out a couple of jewels from there and see when you have that class.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Angela. Sister Tina, I guess if no one else has anything, Sister Tina will give you the last word.
Yes. Is Sister Sharon still on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what you had said earlier, and what others have said, it made me think about my experience with going to prayer and realizing that I got these faults, that I have these faults, and it be it rushing with the prayer, be it wanting to get it over with so I could get back to what I'm doing. I'm learning that that's the perfect opportunity to add more of a sincere prayer to Allah to help me with that. Because when we're honest, like you were being honest, and all of us have to be honest with ourselves, and that's an opportunity to ask Allah to help me with that, because that's something I'm learning that's not good about myself. So Allah, please. So I'm learning that that's an opportunity. Every time we discover something, a fault about ourselves in regards to our obedience to Him, it's an opportunity to offer sincere prayer to ask Him to help correct that.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Brother Ahmad.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, sir. Greetings, family. I heard a lot of mention of AI and Chat GPT in particular. I shared in the chat a video. It's less than a half hour. It's delivered by two Stanford University professors. One is in engineering, and the other is in communication, talking about how to best utilize and get the best out of it, techniques in terms of how do you engineer your prompt, which is a very fancy way of saying how do you ask the question. in a way that's structured and intentional. It's a great video. It's less than a half hour.
Okay.
Hopefully it's helpful for those who are using ChatGPT or want to get started, because it really helped to guide me to use it for work purposes and also privately, and just having it being more scientific, more like laser beam in what you're directing the prompt. So it's in the chat. Hopefully it's useful. And thank you all for today.
Well, thank you for your presence, Brother Ahmad. It's been a while. We're glad to see you back in the circle.
Praise be to Allah. Glad to be feeling better to be present.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Sister Anya, I guess we'll give you the last word.
It's just a question for Sister Sharon. If I thought you were going to put the information in the chat on your research with the AI and mathematics.
If you leave your email address or something in the chat.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. If you don't mind leaving your cell phone number so that I can add you to my WhatsApp. Sometimes it's easier to speak it than to try to just write everything that you want to say. So it just depends on how you feel about putting your, or I can put mine here and you can contact me on WhatsApp that way if that's good with you.
All right. If that is it, we will go ahead and close out in prayer. If you would like a copy of tonight's video, just make a note of it in the chat. And then as soon as it finishes downloading, I will send it out to you. Thank you everyone for your time, your attention, and your patience. And with that being said, let us go ahead and close out in prayer. Attention prayer. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, that aid do we seek. Please, Allah, guide us on the straight path, the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray after they have heard thy teachings. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum, family. May Allah continue to bless us.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Wa alaikum salam.
Salam, sir. Same.
Walaikum salam, sir.
I will keep just another quick second to allow everyone to put their email on it. Or you can just send me an email. Doesn't matter. Just send me an email or put your name in the chat. I'll make sure you get it.
There are a lot you have to send me that you have not sent. Don't you think?
Check your email, because I think I did send something out for the last Zoom meeting. I believe I did send it out to you.
All right, I'm gonna check.
Double check. If not, I'll make sure you get the last one as well.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And the chat also.
All right, that's that. All right, family. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Salam.